Hey guys, welcome to Pleasure Beach. This episode is quite a quick one this time, so I'm sorry it's not as long as the others, but I'm having some time problems with putting videos together. But at least I've done something. And anyway, so I wanted to have a hyper coaster in the park. I think I want it to be the iconic ride for the park, the big main coaster. And so I built quite a few of them. I was struggling with the layout, and I've gone for like a kind of Expedition G-Force kind of layout with some overbanks and airtime hills. And but I was really getting some inspiration for this from the new hypercoaster that Intamin have built in Poland. I'm not sure how to say the name. It's like Hyperion or something like that. But I really love that. It's got this really nice slick black track with black supports, and I like the trains on it actually, but can't use those in the game obviously. But anyway, I've built a layout that I'm happy with. And now I'm just trying to figure out where to position it in the park. And I feel like it's good on this side, have the kind of lift hill and the big drop right by the main road. And also I thought it'd be cool to have the station for this ride closer to the smaller entrance that's on the left side of the park. So I've just built like a trench area here because the final helix of the ride kind of dips down into the ground. I wanted to try and create some different levels with some of the rides, and I thought this was an opportunity to do that. So I've used some terraforming here just to get that helix to kind of wind in the ground. And the colour scheme of this, I'm not really quite sure yet. I know I want black supports, but I'll play around with the track colour later on and see what kind of thing I'm going for. But yeah, I was really excited to build this. This was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do a kind of Pleasure Beach, to have like a compact hyper coaster. And I also really want to just focus with this on doing my custom supports. And I'm going to use these square kind of beams because I feel like the Intamin coasters use more of a square support sometimes. And I'm using square beams from the Architect set, and those can be resized. And they have great different angles as well. So I'm going to use those to create supports. I'm actually going to open up another park. I'm going to open up a sandbox and put this blueprint into the sandbox to build the supports so that there's nothing else around, so I can really get a clear view of what I'm doing without all the other stuff I've got going on here in my Pleasure Beach, like the hotel and the beach. And I shall build the supports there. So as you can see, I've laid out some bits on the floor just for reference, so I can see where things are going to go. I like to always put a grey strip where the lift hill actually is, so I can see when I'm building up high where the actual lift hill, which part of the grid it's on. And then I like to use some path pieces there at the sides just so I know where the supports are going to go out. And then I like to put down some of the pieces already on the floor just so I can use the picker tool, so I don't have to keep going back to the menu to get the pieces I want, so I can just grab them from the floor. So yeah, that's basically like kind of how I do it, the shortcuts that I do. Well, not really shortcuts, but just to make it easier for myself. And I'm using a reference photo of some various Intamin kind of mega coasters or hyper coasters, just so I can kind of create that style with these supports. Especially the hyper coaster in Poland that opened this year is like a big reference for the support work. Some people say the support work on it's quite ugly, and then there is quite a lot going on with the supports, but I think it's kind of quirky, it's kind of cool, adds a bit of character, so that's what I'm going with this one. So I'm just going to go in and just complete this lift hill, save these supports as a blueprint, and then I shall go back into the Pleasure Beach scenario and then just place down the supports that I built there. It's much easier to do it somewhere else like this, so you can really see what you're doing, because it can get confusing sometimes with all the beams. I know that some of the beams aren't going to be exactly in the right place once I put them down in the park, but I can edit that once I get there. So I'll let you just continue watching this support work, and then I shall get back to you when I place it down in the park. So the footers are on. Now I'm saving that as a blueprint, and now it's into park. I'm just going to place them down. It's quite tricky to find actually where they went, but I get there in the end. And there we go, there's the lift hill supports. Some of them do kind of go into the hotel a little bit, so I'm just going to change those and just make it all a bit more kind of not so clashy. And thankfully for the track edit mod, you can move some of the track pieces. There's this curve that goes around the lift hill there, and one of the beams is slightly in it. So I'm going to edit that later on as well, just so that there's no collisions. But I knew I'd have to do some alterations with this, but at least the main kind of structure there is done. And I'm just going to go through now in the next, not today, but another time, because I don't like to do everything with support work. I hate to do it all at once because it gets really boring. So I like to do it section at a time. So I'll come back in other episodes and kind of continue on with the rest of the layout. So I need to do some kind of support work on the overbank turn as well, which will be kind of inspired by my Millennium Force or something. But yeah, so this is basically the new hypercoaster for the park. And if you've liked the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, then feel free to leave it down below. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time where I'll continue with this attraction and the rest of the park. Bye.